It was the coldest day of winter, and a little boy was trudging through the forest. This is what we do. We're learning. Tyler, here, grab this. Gathering firewood for his grandmother. Trudging through the snow. Keep trudging, keep trudging. Bring back all you can find, the old woman had said as she sat knitting a pair of knitted mittens. The north wind blows cold, and we must have a good fire to keep us warm. All morning the boy worked, picking up sticks, until his sled was well loaded. Then a very strange thing happened. Just as he picked up the last stick, he dropped one of his mittens in the snow. Now, how a boy could do this on the coldest day of winter, I'll never know. But that's the way my grandfather tells the story. Off he went with his load of wood, and the mitten was left lying on a snowdrift. As soon as he was out of sight, a little mouse came scurrying through the woods. She was very cold, and when she spied the boy's mitten with its feathery fur cuff, she popped right in to get warm. It was just the right size for a tiny mouse. Presently, a pair of green frogs came hip-hopping over the snow. "Anybody home?" they asked when they saw the mitten. "Only me," said the mouse, "and come in quickly before you freeze." They had no sooner settled themselves snugly in the wool lining when 2 owls flew down. "May we join you in the lovely mitten?" they asked. "If you mind your manners," replied the mouse, for owls always made her nervous. "And don't wiggle around too much," added a frog, "because it's a bit tight in here." It wasn't long before 2 rabbits came hopping down the forest path. Is there room for us in this nice warm mitten?" asked a rabbit. "It's awfully cold out here." "Not much space left," said the mouse and the frogs and the owls. "But come in, we'll see what we can do." Even before the rabbit had gotten himself tucked in, 2 foxes trotted up to the mitten. They're trotting. They're coming. And after a good deal of trouble, they got themselves in, along with the others. The mouse was beginning to think maybe she shouldn't have been so generous, but with the bitter cold outside, what else was she to do? And now, as if things weren't bad enough, the next visitors were 2 big black wolves who wanted to come in too. "I don't know how we'll manage it," said the mouse, "but we'll try." Everyone squeezed around a bit, and finally the wolves were squeezed into the mitten. by now, but at least it was warm. Things had just gotten arranged nicely when the animals heard a great snorting. It was wild boars, and they were very anxious to get in, out of the wind. Oh dear, cried the mouse, for the mitten was already beginning to stretch a little. We just don't have any more room. We will be very careful, said the boars. And with that, they squeezed into the mitten along with the mouse and the frog and the foxes and the wolves. I know this is so because my grandfather told me so. But the worst was yet to come. Who should appear now but a bear? Big bear. He was very big and cold. No room, cried the animals before the bear had a chance to speak. Nonsense, said the bear. There's always room for one more. And without so much as a please or thank you, she began crawling into the mitten. She put in one paw first, and the mitten squeaked and groaned. She put in her other paw, and the seams popped, and then she took a big breath and pushed herself in. Now, while this was going on, along came a little black and green cricket. She was very old, and her creaky legs ached with the cold. And when she saw the mitten, she said to herself, now, that looks like a nice warm place. I'll just see if I can squeeze in too. But, ah me, that was all that was needed to finish off that poor mitten. The cricket had no more than put her first scratchy foot in when, with a rip and a snap, the stitches came apart, the old leather cracked, and the soft lining split in half, popping all the animals into the snow. Well, at this very moment, the little boy discovered that he only had one mitten, so he went back to see where he might have dropped the other one, but all he could find were the ripped apart pieces. And he thought he saw a little mouse scurrying away with a bit of blue wool perched on her head. It looked very much like the lining from the thumb of his missing mitten. Oh, well, said the boy as he snuggled his hand inside his coat. Snuggled his hand inside his coat. My grandmother will surely have finished my new mittens by now. And then he hurried home with the north wind ripping at his cheeks. And my grandfather says he never did know what really happened to his mitten.